My name's Amalina, I'm in Irina, and I'm planning to study psychology, psychological and behavioral sciences at Cambridge University.
My name is Seng Junn, I'm in Nazarudin, and I plan on studying law at the University of Oxford.
So how did you find the application process for Oxford?
Personally, I found it quite straightforward. It's similar applying to the other schools in the UK as well. You write a personal statement, you do the admissions test, which for law is the LNAT, and you have an interview. So I thought it was quite holistic because they certainly judge you on all areas of your application, your PS, if you have any extenuating circumstances, and your LNAT score, which plays a big factor. Is the Cambridge application process any different?
It's quite similar, but it's also varies depending on the subject. For psychology at Cambridge, there isn't an admissions test, so most of my research was, and my pre-reading was just done on my own, looking into my own interests. I found it really fun to just do my own reading into what interests me and go into rabbit holes that way.
So Amalina, what sort of programs or CCAs at KTJ helped you apply to psychology?
So I think extracurriculars and how they're kind of handled within the UK system is a bit different to like US and things like that. So UK is less concerned with like things that are extra, but more supra, so to do with your subject itself. For psychology, there's less inbuilt things in KTJ. So I formed the Psychology Society, and I found that in KTJ there was a lot of support in me doing that and forming my own club. What about you, Seng Junn? What did you do for?
I think for law, KTJ certainly gives more opportunities than psychology. So every year we have an event called the KTJ Oxbridge Moot Competition, where a lot of international schools from all across Malaysia come to KTJ, and we work on this mock trial case, and we have to act as defendants or claimants in order to argue the case. And that was one of the most enriching experiences, I believe, for me, because it helped me solidify my passion for law. It helped me understand certain legal concepts that I don't take at A-levels because KTJ doesn't have law A-levels. Aside from that, the KTJ Law Society organizes weekly sessions, so all the aspiring lawyers from the lower six and upper six come together to discuss legal concepts. We do a book exchange, so every month or so, after we read a book, we give a short presentation and then we swap it all around, which I find is it's a small thing, but it's honestly really helpful.
And I think the biggest thing with doing this super-curricular stuff is just to do things you enjoy. They're going to ask you things about your personal statement, they're going to ask you about your further reading, but that means that you really have the freedom to do the stuff you enjoy within your subject. So like doing the mock interviews and stuff, like both the in-school ones and the out-of-school ones, I actually really enjoyed doing those. And like KTJ hooked me up with some of the alumni one who went to Oxford, and he did some mock interviews with me, and I found those the most fun because I found it really fun to talk about psychology with someone I know knows so much more than me, and to poke holes in all my little arguments. I found that really fun to do.
I think the teachers here are also really supportive as well. So my supervisor was Miss Emma, and every time I had a new legal passion or legal idea, I would go to her. So one of the examples of the super-curricular that I did was that I was a founding member of the Elwoods Project. And we're basically a youth grassroots movement, I guess, where we collaborated with the Association of Women Lawyers and the Women's Aid Organization to write articles, organize webinars, and prepare aid kits to make legal information more accessible to Malaysian women and to youth as well. So how Miss Emma, who's also the head of six from here, supported me in that was that she gave me new ideas on the content that I could write about. She helped me proofread some articles here every now and then. And that was really helpful when I was able to incorporate that into my PS. And like Amalina said, it really demonstrated my passion for law and how I wanted to go beyond the classroom, beyond my syllabus, to really pursue my field of interest.
What's the best part about studying in KTJ, and what are you going to miss the most?
So I think for me, it was being in an environment where everyone is the same, where we're all passionate about subjects, where we're all driven, and we all want to help each other. So at least for my experience, the KTJ lawyers, we used to meet weekly outside of the Law Society to go through potential interview questions. We would discuss new legal cases that popped up, and every now and then we will hold mini debates amongst ourselves. So I found that really helpful because we weren't really competing against each other. Like, we wanted to do our best, but at the same time we understood that we are still friends, we're still students who are working together, and so we prioritized that and we worked together in order to help ensure that our interview skills were to the best of our capabilities.
Yeah, I'd say like pretty much the same thing. Like, I'm gonna miss like my friends and the teachers here who are like the most supportive people you'll ever meet here the most, because I think even for something like psychology, which not necessarily the teachers or even my friends have a background in, like everyone's willing to listen to me just like talk and like offer their advice where they have it. And I think that's something that's so nice about KTJ is that like even within the students, we want each other to do well. We know we're not competing with each other. We know we're competing with like the applicants across the world. So like no one really gatekeeps. Anyone like had any resources, we're always sharing those types of things. So definitely the people are gonna miss the most. And yeah, okay, the people, yeah. Thank you for making KTJ home away from home.
Thanks for making KTJ the 2 most eventful years of my life so far.